Welcome, dear friends. Here we are, another week, another study of the Spiritist magazine. We're so blessed to be together. Make sure we can all hear well. We are so blessed to be here with these beautiful teachings of the Spiritist magazine. As always, we remind everyone to visit spiritistmagazine.org. There you'll be able to download all of the issues of the magazine free of charge, as well as the link to the app of the Spiritist magazine. Today's issue is issue 63. And once you select the issue you want, you're going to hit free and it will download to your app. As you can see, the bar is filling up. And once it says show, you will see and you'll be able to read all of the articles of the magazine anywhere and everywhere as we carry our phones everywhere we go. Today's article is titled Peace and Light by the Spirit Meimei through the mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier. And here we go. We can make it zooming. It'll be a little harder for you to see if you're watching this live because the screen is adjusting, but no worries. Today, as we talk about peace and light in a world of trials and expiations, undergoing the planetary transition, we will, as always, remind ourselves that Jesus is at the helm as the spiritual governor of the planet, and he knows what we need. So today we'll talk about peace and light because that's what you and I and the many spirits all around us also need. Here we have, friends, we have issue 63 is the one you see on the screen if you're watching this. Beautiful cover, amazing graphics. And I'm going to scroll all the way to page 22, which is roughly halfway through the magazine. And you see from Meimei and Chico Xavier. Let's take this moment to look at the beautiful scenery and feel present right now with so much peace and so much light in our lives, because the good reign in the world even if evil is loud around us, right? Even Christ had his antagonists, so we will also face difficulties in this life. Meimei says, difficult days we cross on earth. You hear, right? We talk about how difficult it is. We have many countries engaging in actions. We have many wars around the world. We still have famine. We still have difficulties. We have disease. And that's what a world of trials and expiations is. If you look behind me this way, we have the Gospel according to Spiritism on chapter 3. It's very good for you and I to remind ourselves that we are in a world of trials and expiations. And chapter 3 will give to you the different types of planets that are present on the universe and what characterizes the different planets. And right now, evil is trying to dominate the good in our planet, but we are transitioning. We're choosing the good. So Meimei says, and you recall what you know. The news reports the increasing antagonism among society, right? We have people being enticed against people, antagonism. We are not able to coexist peacefully because we only can deal with people who agree with us. Disagreements dominate social classes, complaining about the diplomacy and understanding of leaders to end destructive conflicts, right? You and I are currently arguing, what should our leaders do in times of war? What should our leaders do in times of threats to safety, public safety? What the leaders are there to do what's best for all of the populace, right? So it's a big responsibility to be a leader. Overreactive news alerts. We have this all the time. This is a blast machine. The same way I showed you Kardec Radio and the Spiritist Magazine app, this thing can beep to the end of the earth. Beeped until the cows come home. So we have to triage our notifications, our social media, so that we are not overreactive. We are aware, we are educated, but not overreactive. It's because overreactive news alerts from the press traumatizes thousands of people, because you and I are now knowing of things that happen across the world who may affect our lives, but there's very little we can do over there. There's a lot we can do here. If you are multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire, we talk about how your impact in the world can be different. But for most of us, the impact is local, is within and around our circles of influence. So we need to go and help. Family disengagement due to impulsiveness, assaults, mass complaints, disturbance of opinions, or natural disasters that concern community life almost all over the world. That is the experience of humanity on the earth, right? When we are not at war, we have a hurricane, and then we have a situation here, natural disaster. We have people complaining. So what do? She says, Meimei, all these dark elements coupled with individual problems, what does it result into? Create a psychological dilapidation that affects millions of people in their work or public spaces, establishing an atmosphere of tension that deforms personalities and consumes a large contingent of forces. So when you and I go around the world, or the majority of the human beings incarnated go around overreactive to these dark elements that we see, we have psychological dilapidation. So our psyche is unbalanced and create this atmosphere of tension that changes our personality. So millions of people are going out in the world, in their workplaces, in their schools, in public spaces, grocery stores, regular malls, working in the street, and we have this tension around us. No wonder why the collective is angry and the collective is super tense, right? So once we understand and we know, then we can act. We can act, not react. It is within this framework that the laws of the Lord engage us to serve in today's world, right? Jesus did not say, oh, there's so much work to do. People are denigrating the temple. There's just so many people who are hungry and ill, and I'm not going to do my work. No, he saw the problems and he went and helped. So in this framework of a world of trials and expiations is where we are engaged to serve. So how have you served today? Even if it's just a smile, saying people's names, having an atmosphere of peace, having good thoughts, observing the good in others, it's service. Many people, she continues, many people are unconsciously warned to rebel against nonsense, ready to act out anger or bitterness into strange forms of aggression. So many of us are so reactive, and we're going around this tense atmosphere that we're just acting out of anger. We don't like anything, we disagree, and we are rude, and we even add fuel to the fire. She says, you and I know of Spiritism. That's the implicit message, right? If you're here listening to Kardec Radio, means you know of Spiritism. She says, Meimei, anchor yourself in patience and walk. So she's saying ground yourself. But it's not ground yourself and stay stagnant. It's walking. No matter what it is, do your best, bless, and carry on. So we observe, but we don't get into the atmosphere of tense. We know there's a war, right? There's attacks from country to country. There are silent sufferings in wealthy neighborhoods. There is people who are unhoused. There are others who are hungry. There are others who are orphans, those who are lonely. We have all of that. And yet we are able to anchor and in patience and walk, not anchor in anger, anchor in disillusionment, and walk. One of the best things for us to avoid being despondent, to avoid becoming depressed, is service. When we are psychologically, emotionally unbalanced, the worst thing we can do is stay inside by ourselves, ruminating on a problem. The best thing you and I can do is serve. There's always someone around you who could use help. We can always be helpful, and we can always receive help. She says, no matter what it is it hurricane? Is it a natural disaster? Is it a war? Is it famine? Is it homelessness? She says, no, patience and walk. Because sometimes God put us in certain places with knowledge of Spiritism so we can be that calming anchor. Things are going to work out. Silence yourself and assist. We're not like posting on X, posting on YouTube, doing reels and reactions with anger. She says, silence. Take it in and it dies within us. That also means we don't contribute to fake news, we don't contribute to gossip, because we see the lack of good that usually it's a result of ignorance. Jesus said many more are ignorant than evil, right? So lots of us are incurring an error and doing things that are damaging to ourselves and millions of others out of ignorance of the good. But then we don't get, in a sense, contaminated with those emotions that we talked about, the psychological derangement, so that we are able to anchor and walk, doing our best, blessing and carry on. Silence yourself and assist. Whatever you are, spread the goodness. Now she's going to give us a lot of examples. Spread the goodness of comforting words and offer the blessing of your smile of peace and fraternity. So we center ourselves, we pray, we connect with our guardian angels, we ask for how can I be of help in the situation. We don't inflame, we quench the fire that is happening around us. All negative occurrences are byproducts of the darkness of spirits. So we're still expunging the darkness, meaning the errors of our past. Nobody wants to see themselves as expunging problems or having hurt others, but we have. All we have to do is read the books of Andrea Louise and Manuel, and we're going to see that in previous lives, it's very likely that you and I hurt one another. And then what happens? In this life, we return and we have to experience things to expunge those darkness. In the whirlwind of shadows, heaven does not ask us to be stars. None of us is asked to raise to the level of Jesus and go live on the sun and give energy and life to other planets. What is asking? What is being asked of us? It is enough for each of us to commit ourselves to kindle a ray of light in God's name. So the smallest of things we can do that bring the good to others, it's enough. Everything that we see around us is a byproduct of the collective darkness that we still as humanity carry. Otherwise, we wouldn't be reincarnated on the earth. But every time we choose an action, every second, we can kindle a ray of light in God's name, and then light will spread. Therefore, peace will reign inside of ourselves so we can walk, we can spread the goodness, that we can serve one another, and then by reference, we are serving God as well. Isn't that beautiful, friends? With everything that is happening around us, Meimei comes to you and I to show us that peace, anchoring ourselves in peace, and kindling the light, allow us to be of service to one another. So this is from the book God Awaits by Meimei and through the medium Francisco Candido Xavier. Vanessa Silone has a beautiful study session of this book at Kardec Radio. And if you're here at Kardec Radio on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. with the Spiritist magazine, you already know that Kardec Radio has many more programs for you and I to nourish our souls. As always, dear friend, visit spiritistmagazine.org as well as spiritistmagazine@gmail.com. Until next time, many blessings. God willing, I'll return next week with another study. Until then, may you stay well, may you stay safe, may peace and light live within you. Take care. Bye-bye.